yourself ready for next year?
Yeah, definitely. We talk to our team in the locker room, and especially on the women's side of things, your seed is really important. And we finished the year really strong, but now we know how important it is to get a higher seed so you're not playing a one. It's really tough to match up against the Louisville at Louisville early in the tournament. We know from their press, they sped us up. We know we got to handle that better. We have a freshman point guard. We have a sophomore two guard. So those guys were handling most of that, and they are going to improve on that. And I'm sure that they're going to try to watch that film and learn from that experience so they're never in that position again.
Coach, you talked about how you guys scheduled difficult road games deliberately to try and help your team grow. How do you think this game is going to help some of your younger players grow down the line?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of what we talked about. I mean, the things that we need to get better at, we need to be able to handle that pressure. We need to be able to handle that environment from the start. I think we settled in and we handled it as the game progressed, but you can't put yourself in a 19-4 hole against a number one seed and try to climb back from that. We had cut it to 6. But it's not easy to climb back from that deficit. So definitely a learning experience. We have so many young kids. I mean, we're losing some outstanding seniors, outstanding leadership, but our freshmen, our sophomores, our juniors really contributed and made an impact all season long. So we are excited about what the future of Michigan women's basketball holds for sure.
Stay on the right side. Coach, obviously you had known about Asia Dare coming in, but what about her performance today impressed you from an opponent perspective?
Yeah, I don't think we did a good job on her initially, and she was able to get going. And anytime, a great player, any player, gets going early, you're in trouble, because once you get some open looks and you get them to fall, holy cow, and I think that happened with her. And the bummer for us is they weren't off of initial offense. She got her first couple threes off of offensive rebounds, and we were running to get a rebound, and then they found her. I mean, I think they do a tremendous job of finding her and share the basketball really well. And she's a heck of a player. I mean, she's an All-American, but she also is the kind of kid that lets the game come to her. She doesn't press too much. But her team did a great job of finding her, and she's just an outstanding player and did a tremendous job for them tonight.
I have a question back there on the left.
Coach, in regards to the first half turnovers, how many of them you thought were responsible, or how many do you think Louisville was responsible for, and how many of them were kind of, you guys just made some mistakes that were unfortunate and uncharacteristic?
It was definitely a combo. I mean, we knew they were going to speed us up, but we practiced against that every day. I just think we got, and when you're a young kid and you make a couple mistakes, you have a tendency, it's kind of like a young kid that makes their first 2 shots. They have, they usually make 3, 4, 5. If you make a couple mistakes early, you usually make 3, 4, 5. So it was just trying to settle down and get us to relax and just play confidently. But, we talk about Amy Dill. I mean, she's a freshman. This is her first time in this kind of environment, and they have some great defenders and some really, really, really quick kids. The same with Deja Church. She's first time in this environment. So handling the ball, they took the ball out of Amy's hands early, and that made us have to have somebody else handle the ball that is not accustomed to doing it the entire game. So it was a combination, and I think when we got shook and rattled, it took us a few minutes to get out of that.
Coach, heading into next season with a lot of young players, what are you most excited about?
Yeah, I mean, I might have said this in the last couple of days in the press conference. We've just finished practice number 103, and at most times when you're at practice 103, the horn ends to end practice, and the kids go scurry on their way and can't wait to get out of the gym, or the coaches go home and can't wait to get home. And this is probably one of the first teams in my career that I have to throw them out of the gym after practice 103 ends, because they want to continue getting shots up, or they want to continue working, or they want to get better. So they're hungry, they're driven, they're Michigan kids. They want to be the best that they can be in the classroom, on the basketball court. That, as a coach, there's nothing more you can ask for. And that's exciting to be around every day. They're energy givers. When you have a freshman point guard like Amy Dill coming back, and you have a freshman post player like Naz Hillman coming back, and they had the kind of freshman seasons that they did, that's reason to get excited. I mean, Kayla Robbins and Kenray Johnson, 2 juniors on our team that you guys had a chance to see tonight. I mean, the sky's the limit for them. Haley Brown, a Canadian kid who can just absolutely shoot the basketball. I mean, we have a lot of great pieces coming back, and our kids know that they're hungry to take those next steps in the NCAA tournament.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.